Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, give us a 5-star review. Here's a really great review from Chris C. Disappointed. Great podcast. I heard of it from your appearance on Megyn Kelly's show. I appreciate your sense of humor and ability to keep things light on serious topics. I think the spectrum of personalities in your guest is highly entertaining as well as educational. A few episodes in, as a new listener, has me thinking about how it can be that liberty is so common sense and a universally held ideal for so many of us, and yet be so distant from mainstream political conversation. What seems to be a tight knit community of grassroots content creators talking about individual freedom, listening to Megyn Kelly, Daily Wire, etc. feels like the common opinion listening to your show. Thank you. Wow, thanks, Chris. That was like a really nice long review. Appreciate it, guys. Quick shout out to some stand-up dates. I am recording an album on January 6th. Yes, I picked January 6th on purpose. It's going to be great. It's going to be at Governor's on Long Island in Levittown. So get tickets for the January 6th. We're making January 6th great again. I'm taping my special, my album, whatever you want to call it. So I got a bunch of shows leading up to that. And you can see them scrolling below. I'll be at Morris Plains, New Jersey with Comedians of the Compound December 11th. That's at Tiff's Ale House in Morris Plains. Then I'm headlining the Hartford Funny Bone in Connecticut December 12th. Then December 13th, I'm heading to Little Rock. There is a loony bin out there that I'm going to be headlining the loony bin in Little Rock, Arkansas. And then coming back to Texas, December 15th and 16th, going to be doing shows at Hyenas in Dallas with Aaron Berg and Anthony Cumia. We're also going to be doing some appearances at the Blaze, so that's really exciting. I've got dates after the album recording, but I really want to stress that you guys come to these December dates as I get ready to film this special. Very excited about that. Have some sponsors. Guys, I have my own hot sauce. It's Nightmare from Silk City Hot Sauce. Look at that. It's me in like a little S&M costume. I'm eating somebody's insides. It's really delicious. It's like a great combination. You know what? I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it from the website because, they have a very legit way of describing these hot sauce people. Silk City Hot Sauce. Here we go. Nightmare. Sweet and smooth with a burst of fire, jalapenos, pear, sweet apple cider, and super hot habanero. This is the Verde sauce that'll awaken your soul. And then at the bottom, it's got the Great Awakening. Just a little nod to my people. Also, shout out to our other sponsor, Cushy Dreams. I don't know if you guys struggle with anxiety like I do, but I have been enjoying Cushy Dreams products for a good year and a half now. They specialize in high quality CBD in pre-rolls and in these tins here. Like if you're somebody who likes to smoke out of an apple or something. But I like these pre-rolls. You can get all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. There's different indica sativa blends like relax, dream, energy, hustle, create, energy. So if you want to be a little bit more relaxed before bed, you take like a dream or a relax. Or if you want to be a little bit more awake at the beginning of the day, a little bit more energy, do energy or hustle. I really love their stuff. They do tons of independent lab tests to ensure compliance and purity. And you can see all these results on their website, cushydreams.com. That's cushy with a K. dreams.com. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. At checkout, use the code CMP to get 20% off. And also with this Nightmare sauce, use code CMP to get a discount as well. Like these hot sauces are only $10. So it's like a nice little, if you're a hot sauce person, get it. If you know a hot sauce person and want to give them something for the holidays, get it. Go to levinskystopshelf.com, LEVINSKY, and then cushydreams.com. Exciting, guys. The holidays are upon us. That's right. I have more stuff too. I've got shirts. Look at this. Make America Great Again. And that's me. It's not my actual body, but it's pretty darn close. And I really love this shirt. These shirts are super soft. They're canvas shirts, and you can find them on tpublic.com. And I really like this one in hunter green, but you can pick it in whatever shirt you want, in whatever color you want. I think you can get it V-neck if you want. Men's sizes, women's sizes. What? Nick needs the link. Okay, let's send him the link. I thought I sent it to. I did email it to him already, but he's a busy boy. So I'm going to just shoot it over to him again. Okay, here we go. He's so busy, Nick. He's coming straight from another stream. Okay, he'll be on momentarily. Guys, I'm so excited to have him on. He's been so busy. I didn't even think he would be available when I asked him. I was like, "I'll see you in a month when things calm down." And he's like, "No, let's do it." So I'm very excited. Wow. Super chats are coming in already. You guys are excited for Nick. Without further ado, my God, should I give him a minute to catch his breath? No, I won't. I'm bringing him in right away. You may have seen his legendary live streams. I'm going to call them law streams. Legendary live streams during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. He's pretty much my favorite lawyer right now. Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law. Hello, how are you, buddy?
Hey, great. How are you? I am so sorry for being late. I really am.
You're a busy boy. You were just on your own stream and you left it to come here. So I appreciate it.
Yes, yes. And then my email is broken. So like you may have sent it to me and I believe you, but I can't get to it.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, why isn't my email working? So anyway, thank you for sending the link on. I've been wanting to come on your show for a while, so I'm really glad to be here. Thank
And
you.
I've wanted to have you on for a while. Like, I liked you ever since you were just a mere regular lawyer on Friday Night Tights with hot takes on pop culture, and now you're this famous, iconic YouTube lawyer.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that has progressed, but here we are. So that's the way social media works, right?
Yeah, yeah. One day you're just filing papers, the next you're a YouTube icon. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Nick here started doing live streams of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And did you cover this? It went on for about 2 weeks. Were you Tell me a
3.
little bit about what made you want to cover this trial. Was this the first trial that you had covered in a live stream kind of way?
Uh, yeah. So I've been live streaming about legal topics and other, cultural topics like the propriety of balls on your futanari for a very long time. For the past for the past 3
Did you
years.
say balls on your futanari?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, you really want to get into it?
Is it sexual?
For some people, I think.
Okay, I've just never heard of that before. If it's normal, if this is a thing everyone's heard of but me, continue.
Yeah, no, we'll just assume that. So I've been basically discussing all sorts of topics for the past 3.5 years by live stream, and I've done lots of legal coverage, but nothing like the Rittenhouse trial in that it was so extensive. It was live along with the court. I mean, I have live streamed court hearings before, but they're usually after the fact. So that was very new. But it was something that when this event went down back in August of last year, I said, when this kid goes to trial, I'm going to cover it. So I had set out to cover this thing in its entirety once it happened because I thought it would be a really important case.
Wow. Okay, so you had covered other trials in the past, but what made this one blow up? I mean, you had at one point, was your highest amount of viewers like over 80,000?
We had 130,000 at one point. It was crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it garnered a lot of interest. It made me think. I thought immediately that it would be a big case because you had this incident that was capturing national attention, which is the riots all throughout 2020, and then you have this kid who's there in the riots, and at the end of the day, he has a gun and he uses it to defend himself. Well, a lot of people can put themselves in the shoes of all sorts of people at this event, right? They could say, "Oh, I'm like Kyle Rittenhouse. I go out and help my community, and I pull the trigger." And then they can have disagreements over his decisions or agree with them. They can put themselves in the shoes of the rioters. Maybe they could put themselves in the shoes of the people whose houses and buildings are getting burned down or vandalized in some way. So there's a lot of things for people to identify with, and a lot of people had been through similar stuff in their own town, and it was just ripe for that. Plus, when you lay in, this is one of the most documented and, in my opinion, clear-cut cases of self-defense that has ever entered a courtroom, and you've just got a recipe for fireworks at that point.
Yeah, and there were so many things. I think these streams were so hot and so important because it was just so different, and it was so different than what the mainstream media was offering about this case. There were so many huge things that the mainstream media got wrong, and then of course all these simps of mainstream media, like anybody who might have a channel like you or I, or anybody in sort of like late night comedy, this trickle down effect, a lot of folks are just sort of taking their cues from mainstream media, not bothering to do any different research. So now we have this huge ripple effect. So many people who have the basic facts wrong, which was Kyle didn't shoot any black men. He didn't travel across state lines with any kind of illegal firearm. The quote fact checkers were wrong from day one. And they could go on your channel and listen from not only you, but you assembled a panel of like a crack team of expert lawyers. How did you choose who was going to be on these panels? Was it the same group day to day, or did you mix it up a little?
It was an accident. That's how it started. I was going to sit there and like depression drink my way through the entire trial, 8 hours at a time, expecting kind of a slog through what was happening. But on the first day of jury selection, my buddy Nate, the lawyer, was in chat, and he's like, "Hey, if you want company, and so I sent him a link, and he popped on, and then Uncivil Law was there. He said, "Hey, if you want to have me on, I'll come on." I said, "Well, how about tomorrow?" And then I was thinking like one at a time, right? Just two lawyers watching the show. And then as that grew, I brought in more people and more people. And then eventually we had assembled this panel. And the only organization was I would put out the link in a DM, and whoever was available would just come in. It was kind of first come, first to join. But most people are not able to sit through 8 to 9 hours of live stream at a time. So we would have people rotate in and out on as they needed to. And it just became this place for all of the lawyers in our little weird legal community to gather and discuss this, and people really seem to like it.
And you got a ton of attention from these live streams. How did I've known of you. You've been sort of like famous to me for a while through like Friday Night Tights. I've known of you for and been a fan for months now. How did these other lawyers that you brought on react to all of this attention, all these, retweets from kind of bigger people like Jack Posobiec was following you guys closely, Elijah Schaefer, a lot of folks, like Blaze related, Daily Wire, a lot of folks, and I guess what do you call it? Independent media taking notice of
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, it was great. And we even got to have Posobiec and Will Chamberlain on stream for the verdict day, which was really cool as well. But I mean, the main way we all reacted is everybody got huge boosts in their viewers and their subscribers, and it's a very active and engaged audience. And I think we're all trying to figure out how to honorably service those viewers, right? Because they found something that they liked, and now we know about something that people respond really well to. So I know that I've added a daytime show right before this, obviously, because of
Wow.
that reaction, and trying to bring in more of the sort of panel atmosphere, which of course I stole that idea from Friday Night Tights anyway. But
Friday Night Lawyers. It doesn't have the
yeah,
same ring, or
no,
it's not going to be
no.
as fun.
Not Listen, lawyers
But
can get a little
necessary.
rowdy. But no, it's this people want a diversity of expertise, education, experience, and opinion on these big legal topics. And when you go to CNN or whatever, you get one dummy law professor from some school that no one cares about, and he comes on, he gives his take, and people are supposed to take that authoritatively, even though when they do that, it's shocking how often they're wrong. But when you come onto our show that we built, you can watch in real time what's happening. You can listen to our takes. You can hear us fight or even just politely disagree and try and noodle through the issues in real time. It's something that just major networks don't have time to accomplish. They don't, and the resources of putting 8 lawyers and paying them to sit through 8 hours of this stuff would cost a fortune. Yeah.
Absolutely right. And plus, there's so much production at a network, and we can just throw up a StreamYard and be live in minutes and send people a link. It's like, it's really exciting to see how fast we're sort of taking power away from these huge outfits and giving power to independent creators. And then at one point, your streams were censored by YouTube. There was one day, and I tried to watch every single day. I watched a few of the days, but the day I happened to be watching, you kept getting taken down by YouTube.
Yeah, that was fun. It was just a glitch, according to YouTube.
Oh, yeah? Oh, a glitch?
It was
Multiple time glitch? Okay.
and they're like, "Don't worry, your channel's fine. You're not affected in any way." And I was like, "Well, I was." We were at 77,000 viewers. It was very early in the day. That was the day that Kyle Rittenhouse was going to testify. It was a huge day. I expected we would break 100,000 viewers that day, but we at 77,000 got the shutdown and immediately lost 40,000 viewers. And PBS got quite a bump in viewers at the exact same time as people, right? Because they went,
Right.
they're like, I want to see what's happening with the trial, and they left. And so we didn't have the opportunity to reclaim those viewers unless they happened to be monitoring for it. But it felt like hours, but I think it was out for about 10 to 15 minutes tops. And then we picked back up once they figured out the glitch. But it's interesting to note the glitch took out not just me, it took out Law and Crime, which didn't have any commentary, was just doing the court stream. And it took out a couple other, only independent creators, but all of the mainstream media sources stayed up.
So it's a very specific glitch to independent content creators and not a glitch that affected any kind of mainstream outfit. Interesting.
Yeah, very, very, very awkwardly targeted glitch. I hope all of my errors that happened for me just end up targeting specific people, but
And I remember you said when it first happened, you got messages saying that you had violated a policy.
Yeah, they said it was copyrighted audio was the reason that was given, that the stream, their automatic systems had detected copyrighted audio. Of course, courtroom audio is not copyrightable. It's public. It's public information. There's nothing being done by any of the outlets who are covering it to change or alter artistically that audio. There's no copyright claims, so they don't get to do that. But it seems like that's what happened. Now, importantly, in context, we had been streaming this for, at that point, a week and a half, I think, and would continue to stream for another week and a half after that. And there was no hint of copyright on any of those days. It was only as we approached PBS's numbers in viewers, as people started getting attention to the stream, that happened.
This almost looks like to the untrained eye that YouTube and PBS are in cahoots.
Yeah, I think all major media sources, and people may not remember, but there was a time when Fox, CNN, NBC, they couldn't get anybody to watch their YouTube videos. I mean, they had embarrassing view amounts. They were getting routinely destroyed by the Young Turks. They were getting destroyed by Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder. I mean, and when I say
cat videos, even, dogs jumping in the snow.
But I'm talking about on the exact same subjects, right?
Okay.
They were getting they were getting dominated by independent creators, and it was not even close. And then there was a day where it literally switched, and
Do you remember when that was?
it was a couple years back. I don't know, but YouTube actually has a policy for it. It's called their trusted sources policy. And on any matter that is relatively public, they will give priority to a quote unquote trusted source. So those trusted sources by default include the news, and almost exclusively include the major media news stations, which is funny because when you're talking about like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, Brian Stetler giving his news take on the trial will be a trusted source, whereas 10 lawyers talking about this trial, watching it live in real time, will not. So
Yeah.
that
Would
is
you
how
rather
trusted.
watch 10 lawyers or a wet tampon?
Yeah.
One you drop in the toilet by accident, not to gross anybody out. I'm talking one that just gets in water. That's his vibe.
But that, no,
And
never, I won't follow that joke.
you can.
I'd say that one would have more hair on it, but that was...
What? Yeah. All right. You tried. So, and then you told everybody, you got pissed. I was looking at your tweets, Nick. You were like,
yeah.
what the fuck? This is some bullshit. Like, you can't, it's not just like you're telling some like idiot streamers, oh, you violated something and you scare them off. Like, you guys know the law. You knew that it was not any kind of a copyright policy infringement. And so you were like telling people, tweet at Team YouTube, which I did because I imagine they probably got a ton of tweets. Thousands.
It still took them. This is what really torques me off about that. At the time, we're the #2 live stream in the United States behind PBS.
Whoa.
And it took them over 24 hours to respond to any of the issues around that. And it's like, if you don't know how Team YouTube functions on Twitter, any YouTube creator tweets to Team YouTube and they are responding to people, like telling them how to use their YouTube studio or telling them about an issue, saying, hey, you need to use our reporting function for that or whatever. They're doing that all day, constantly, for people who have any channel size. I mean, you can have 5 followers and tweet at Team YouTube, and you actually have a decent chance of them responding. It's kind of crazy how much they put into it. For them to not respond for 24 hours when it was the second largest live stream in the United States on their platform, to me, that just indicates that that they weren't interested in answering that question. And I mean, Team YouTube follows me, and I have an existing DM thread with them. And so, like, I was also DMing them incessantly, like a petulant child, screaming at them, and they just were not answering. So I've gotten good results from them very quickly before, not that day.
Interesting. So this is typically a very kind of personalized, immediate response. Team YouTube is usually on point, but again, along with this very specific glitch, they just were not getting back to you that day.
Nope.
Interesting. What impact do you think that your streams will have on future cases? Not your, I mean, yes, you're great, but I'm sure this will inspire a lot of, a lot of other lawyers to do this. You're kind of the pioneer here, I feel like, of this.
Yeah, and I have to first, I have to give a lot of credit to the panel, because again, it was an accident the way it came together, and the panel made the show so much better than just me giving my take. And that's what you can't get on media, is this organic panel of lawyers doing it. So what I hope it does, and what we're trying to do, is continue that sort of coverage of cases. But it needs to change the way these lawsuits are covered in general by the media. I hope to actually have a written piece out on this sometime soon, but we have the ability to make transparent courts, which is kind of a principle of a free court system. We have the ability today to make it a reality for effectively no cost, right? Like, courts, all you have to do is install a camera, a webcam. They don't have to be good quality, and use the court's existing audio systems that all courts use, by the way. They all have everybody's microphoned. And so you just feed that into a live stream on YouTube, and tons of courts have their own YouTube channels. Tons of courts in Wisconsin have their own YouTube channels. Kyle's did not. Just for whatever reason, that courtroom does not have one, but several other courts in Wisconsin do. And we could do this for basically free and allow people access to this, because the real question is, when you look at how the media reported the Rittenhouse trial versus what we saw on our streams, what we were talking about, you get two completely different worlds, and that is unacceptable. Transparent courts promote justice because that's the public's opportunity to check the government is playing fair. And if we have not had them in a very long time, and if we don't get them now, we never will.
Yeah. And the leftist mainstream media, it's very obvious they tried their best to make the Kyle Rittenhouse case about being anti-BLM, about obsessing on race, about being anti-Second Amendment, about being anti-self-defense. They made sure to preach that white people are evil no matter what the circumstance. And I heard some people saying some ridiculous, like, "Oh, I guess if a white person feels threatened by you, get ready because you're gonna be shot." Like, it's blowing my
Right.
mind what some of these so-called journalists are getting away with saying. And we know that that's their prerogative. We know the agenda that the left is pushing. So how do you, as a lawyer, like, I can't imagine how hard that must be to like kind of be neutral, but at the same time, you are human. You do have opinions. You are going to see it from a certain perspective, despite your knowing the law. How do you balance that, and how do you convey that, on a
Well,
live stream?
I don't. I don't balance it at all. And that I think is more important than this idea that we're supposed to be unbiased. Journalists, I do think should strive for non-biased coverage, although we all have biases and we can't get rid of them. We can't ignore them. Even what we choose to cover is going to be biased, right? I chose the Rittenhouse case because I like guns. I think that self-defense is important. And when I saw it, I'm like, this kid's innocent. And we need to talk about that. So there is bias already. I try to be upfront and honest and open with biases that I have, but at the same time, incorporate the legal aspects into it. I was very critical of the defense team and how they conducted themselves during this trial. And that, I think plays against the bias. If I could have apologized for everything that they did and said, oh no, this is great and wise and wonderful, but I didn't do that. The panel didn't do that. You can kind of figure out our biases if we don't openly state them, but there's no illusion. Lawyers are not typically neutral. When we get a client, we have a duty of advocacy on behalf of the client. It's in our ethical responsibilities to be biased. And so, while none of us had Kyle Rittenhouse as a client, we get to take up that advocacy mentality pretty easily. So I think it's just a misconception about how lawyers think through problems and address them. We are advocates, and we can be advocates for causes as well as people.
Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad you cleared that up. I'm gonna get to a couple of these super chats from Angry Baneling. No nose man, no peace. Where's the nose man? Is this an inside joke?
I'm the nose man.
Oh.
But I don't know why. I have no idea. But yeah, it was probably just because I was late.
Oh my God, you sent a super chat? This is so I'm gonna have to send this back to you. How this
No,
is
you
the
don't.
most proper super chat, and you don't even send a $2 super chat. You're like, I'm gonna send you $20 to say that your email is broken. Oh my God, you're the best. All right, let me get to some of
Wait
these.
till you get to my second one.
Oh gosh, okay. From Robot Sean, ask him about his nose because there is no way it could be real. Wow, the people really obsessed with your schnoz there.
It's
Uh,
correct.
Joshua Schmidt, Nick, Jordan P. Voice. I'm late and gay. All right.
I'm
Not
late and gay. Hey, I guess people say my Kermit sounds like Jordan Peterson.
Oh, okay, okay. You know who does a great Jordan Peterson impression is Tyler Fisher. He has on his Instagram like Jordan Peterson in college, like, "Oh, I would never sleep with a woman who didn't make her bed." It's so good. I'll find it after I'm done reading these. From Pedro the Powerful Oh, great. Nick, on a scale
Oh.
from 1 to 10, how much does Legal Eagle hate you?
Hopefully that's up to at least an 8 by now. That's what I'm going for. I'm looking for a solid 8 on that from Legal Eagle.
You
But I
had
don't
beat
know. I've never talked to him.
he wasn't on any of your streams?
No. We want lawyers' opinions.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he should change his name because he has like a lawyer name there. Oh, again from you. Can you send me the link? My God. All right, I'm definitely gonna send that back to you.
No, you better not. I'll send it back.
You should just
It'll-
have my number. Okay, from Crash Mondo, obligatory simp tribute. Thanks, Crash. Simping for you, Nick. From Matthew Hammond. Oh, thank God, it's Matthew. He always has good questions. Okay, do you have a name for your album, Chrissy? Maybe Domestic Terror Mayor or Domestic Mayor Event? I'm thinking about it. It's definitely going to be like a little bit January 6th themed because I was there that day. I'm going to try to make it fun. I'm going to try to like maybe do it tongue in cheek. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But it's also going to be my material that I've been working on and saying at shows for like 11 years now. Okay, from Russ Man. Hail to the smoking, sexy, hysterically cruel girl, Chrissie Mayr. Oh, that's me. Okay. Oh, hi, Nick. Joking aside, Nick, what you've done is legitimate history. Hail to you, my dude.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, from G-Man. What the fuck, Chrissy? Why are we starting so late? Oh, come on. It was like a couple minutes late. I've been
It was
later.
my fault. It was my fault.
I'm trying to get better at being on time. All right, let me scroll.
I'm always late to live streams. My own, other people's, obviously. It's bad. It's bad.
From Silo here because of Nick. Are you talking about the Great Awakening? Ah, yes, my hot sauce. That's for sale on Silk City Hot Sauce. Did you see it? Did you miss it? Hold on.
I missed it. Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. So I love puns. So this is called Nightmare.
1 second. Sorry.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. I like the
me
art.
Eating someone's innards. And yep. It's good. It's me in like a S&M costume with chains. This was supposed to come out like at Halloween. It's supposed to be perfect Halloweeny, but it's very good. I would take a swig of it, but it's very hot. Anyway,
like how hot? Like
it's
what are
very
we talking here?
it's hot. It's like pear, apple cider, jalapenos, apples. I don't know, hot stuff. It's good. I think it's going to be good on eggs and tacos. Okay.
Yeah.
From Malachi, ask her the question, Nikki. That sounds like maybe that could have been a text instead of a super chat.
1 sec.
Let's see. Okay. From 200 Watt Studio, jury's back, judge is back too. Asian food is here. That's funny. That looks like a nod to the judge. Okay. Nick is checking on something. Okay, from the last king of Norway. Hey, do you know that I'm Norwegian on my mom's side? Okay. Nick, are you there? He's busy.
Sorry, 1 second. Yes, the answer to that question is yes, they are.
Are the majority of lawyers and judges lefties? Ooh.
Yep.
I wonder why that is. Okay, I'm scrolling down. I want to make sure. Okay, Steve from PA. How many Thanksgiving dinners will Lunchbox enjoy tomorrow? Thanks for the coverage.
He will enjoy all of them. That's they're talking about Assistant District Attorney James Krause, who is a giant man, and was clearly he was fat man excitable. You know what I mean by that? Like Kevin James, right? How he gets all riled up. That's James Krause, except he wasn't funny. He was a lawyer. So he was, whew. But yes, I imagine he'll be eating everybody's Thanksgiving dinner. Don't let him near your house. Defend yourself. Defend yourself and your property like Kyle.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Nick, did you perchance share the StreamYard link instead of the YouTube link?
Oh, shit.
I just see a lot of new friends coming into the studio. That's okay. I'll just keep kicking them out.
It said, fucking hell. know.
It's okay. It's okay. Maybe it was me.
It's not even showing the tweet is posting. So,
Oh, all right. It's all
but I
good.
did. There it is. I'm deleting it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Here's another super chat from Eric the Red. Brian Stelter is the kind of guy that loves to make breakfast for his wife's boyfriend. Yep. He's got cuck vibes for sure. Okay. Here's from Russman. Nick, do you think Maxwell will expose the elite scumbag club, or will the big money buy off the defense and DA to create a path to cut her loose? P.S. If I were her, I would expose everyone. Too high profile to kill them. Yeah, Russman is referring to the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, which kicks off, I think, next week, just in like 5 days or so.
Yeah, I think on Monday, the 29th is when it starts. So, I don't know if that's gonna be a thing. I'm torn. Because I keep thinking that she's got a big list of people that she could expose, but at the same time, I also think there might be someone in the courtroom with a sniper rifle on her, right? Like, there's a lot of potential, very well moneyed, well connected people that she could implicate, and the question is, will she do it, or will she take, will she stick to her? Will she keep it to herself? I don't know. It's big drama.
It is. I can't wait. Are you going to be live streaming that one too?
It's federal court, so there are no cameras in the courtroom. So I've heard there's an audio feed, which might be terrible, but if there is a live audio feed, we might try. I'm not sure.
Why aren't there cameras in a federal court case?
Because there just aren't. The Supreme Court has decided. So seems like a mistake to me. I think there should be cameras in every courtroom by rule, and exceptions should be made when it's necessary. Like if you have a bunch of little kids going up to testify about the abuse that they suffer, you don't want that in a courtroom.
Right.
But let's like Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, let's get cameras in there. Let's get who she's going to name. Let's get their names public. Let's put it out there. In my opinion, that's me.
Yeah, it's going to be juicy. Courts. I read something today that names Sean Carter, Harvey Weinstein, obviously, and it's like, oh, that's Jay-Z there. That's freaking crazy. So I will be following it. From good old Robbie, as long as I have a face, Chrissy will have a place to sit. Okay. I thought you guys would maybe keep it a little serious for Nick coming on, but I guess I should not have expected that.
Oh no, not never, not when I'm around. Please never be serious.
Thank you, Grim, for the super sticker. Scrolling.
I mean, I'm the kind of guy who will ruin things by tweeting out a stream.
No, that was great. I've done that so many times, by the way. I've had the StreamYard link like in my calendar. From Pepsi Man, Nick and his nose get too much money on his channel. You deserve it.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing the Lord's work. The Lord's work. Okay. I want to know what you think of. So we have our very own President Biden, the president of the U.S., called Kyle a white supremacist, and then, in fact, when the verdict came out, he put out a written statement that said, it was something about the American people being upset as to the verdict, and then he said, myself included. So he's doubling down on calling Kyle a white supremacist. He's not taking it back at all. He's not apologizing. Does Kyle have a case for defamation here?
It's a really tough one. Everybody wants me to say yes to this, and everybody wants every lawyer they talk to say yes to the president. It's a very, very uphill battle. The type of speech he's using is the most protected political speech. And the big question is white supremacist a statement of fact or a statement of opinion? If it's an opinion, then it's going to be protected and you cannot sue over it. If it's a fact statement, and how you determine that is, would an objective person being given all of the information be able to determine this is a fact versus an opinion? And is there like a yes or no? Is someone a white supremacist? Can that be determined? I mean, maybe if they, make a habit of going after other races or something like that. But people can just say, I think that guy's a white supremacist, right? Like that. And how do you disprove that fact, even given everything? Because it would require you to be inside the mind of the person they're talking about. So the courts have typically found that statements like racist and white supremacist are opinions, but it's an argument, and you can certainly make it. Now, on a principle level, I think what Joseph Robinette, the sniffer Biden, is doing is disgusting. He should not be commenting in the way he is. He should not express disappointment with a jury verdict. That is not his role as president. A jury found that he acted in lawful, justifiable self-defense. And to be disappointed that a jury looked at facts and found lawful self-defense is to be a ridiculous person. It's to say that he should not have been justified when the only system we have for measuring that found that he was.
Right.
So,
Right. So, right. Then you get into like what is protected speech versus slander. And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind in case any of us, someone calls us a racist or a white supremacist. I mean, these words mean less and less over time, the more people use them. So it's like just to let your Facebook friend know, it's like, all right, these are our opinions. And how does one prove it? I guess you'd have to take a look in somebody's closet. Look, I don't know.
well, you also just tell them that they're fat. You send that right back.
Yeah.
My opinion that you're fat.
You're fat. Did you listen to any of Tucker Carlson had Kyle on and did like a 45-minute interview with him after the verdict? Did you catch any of that?
I've caught some snippets of it. I have not gone through the whole thing. I was thinking I was going to on my show today, but the Ahmaud Arbery verdict came in and that kind of disrupted that whole plan. So I haven't watched the whole thing, but I have seen some of the stuff from it for sure.
There were some interesting tidbits, like he mentioned, that he spent months in jail after turning himself in. And then he mentioned his initial lawyers who he worked with, Lynn Wood and John Pierce, raised like over $1 million on Kyle's behalf. It sounded like he didn't quite know where that money went. And they also said that at first Kyle was in a militia, which I think kind of may have screwed him over at first. But it seems like he ultimately ended up with people who were better for him. So
yeah. So the money raising is a very contentious issue, and he may actually have he may be considering malpractice claims against those lawyers. I don't know if that's going to be there, but what he's probably really doing is getting it out there on the record that they took advantage of him in the goal of raising money because they are trying to claw back the bail money that was fronted for Kyle. He had a $2 million bail, and in Wisconsin, you put up the cash amount. So $2 million was actually raised and given over to the court to ensure that Kyle would make all of his hearings. He made all of his hearings. He was acquitted. That money gets to go back now, and it should go back to Kyle because that money was raised on his behalf for his benefit. However, the Fight Back Foundation, which is Lynn Wood's organization, is filed a motion that they want to have that $2 million go back to them, which I think is wholly improper. And it sets up the stage that there's going to be a fight over this money. And with that fight, they'll have to determine who gets it. And it could depend on any sort of agreements they may have had Kyle or his mom sign at the time that all this happened. And if without seeing those, you can't really know. But by default, if you raise money for someone's benefit and then they get they get it, the money should go to that person. It shouldn't go into Lynn Wood's coffers, in my opinion.
yeah, it should not be going towards the Lynn Wood hot tub fund.
Right. Oh, a sweet hot tub. $2 million.
A golden hot tub. Okay, so yeah, because I don't know if you followed, you probably did followed like the Covington kids, because people are bringing up Nick, who was that sort of like iconic, kid, boy, I don't know, young man from the Covington stuff, and he ended up getting like $800 million, which I haven't heard like from.
No, let me correct that. He has sued for a whole bunch of money, and he has settled 2 of those lawsuits. However, we have no indication, because it's under a non-disclosure agreement, how much money he got, if
Okay.
any, in those settlements. This is a source of a lot of confusion for people, but it is entirely possible, and I would suggest even likely, that he got almost no money in those two settlements. At most, maybe he would get into the low six figures from the second one. I bet the first one was $0, personally. And what you do is, when you're suing like 7 people, 7 major media entities, if you can convince one of them to fold and maybe give you information, and you do that for free and let them off the hook, then you get ammunition against the other ones, presumably. I think he's got 5 or 6 cases still going, and those will be resolved sometime in the next couple of years, but it's a long way out. So everybody, a lot of people are out there saying he got a whole bunch of money, he made all this stuff, but I don't think that's actually the case.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. And then Kyle was talking about how he's, he really wants to lead a normal life. I guess he's enrolled at Arizona State University. I don't know. I guess it just seems crazy. This is a lot for a 17-year-old kid to deal with. And then I'm thinking, like, what would I do if I were him? Would I like change my name? Would I don't know, do what the Kardashians do and go get a new face? But it's just, I don't know. I I'm really impressed with how sort of well he kind of maintained himself. Like, I don't know. Every time I watch that snippet of Kyle, like, hearing the results, and then he, like, breaks down and cry. Like, I cry every time I see that, and I don't understand how somebody can watch that and not feel something. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's no
No,
question
it's
there. I'm just
yeah,
impressed.
he was a kid put into a remarkable situation, and he handled himself remarkably well. Although I this is my problem right now, is he's saying stuff like he wants to go on and live a normal life, which is something that I agree with. I don't know how you live a normal life after what he's been through. Even just the trauma of it is going to impact him for a while. But at the same time, he is going on a media tour, right? And he's going and meeting with Donald Trump and interviewing with Tucker Carlson. And so this,
Mhm.
I think he needs to pick. And there's no shame in choosing either way. But right now he's straddling this line of, I want a normal life, but also let me interview with some of the highest profile people in the world. If you want to go down that road, go down that road by all means. I think he should reopen his TikTok, 4 doors, more whores, and do gun
Wait, was that
reviews.
his TikTok?
Yeah, that came out at trial. His TikTok page
What?
was 4 doors, more whores. And so and the prosecutor tried to make a big deal out of it
That's
because
funny.
his little like description was, bruh, I'm just trying to be famous. And he's like, well,
Wow.
you got fame, didn't you? You're famous now, aren't you? It's like, oh, shut up, you weirdo.
You're like,
Uh,
"At least it's not Fluffer Boy," or what was
right,
it called?
exactly.
Fluffer
Fluffer
Boy
Boy 2004.
2004. Right, it was a great
The
year.
Chad 4 doors, more whores versus the Virgin Fluffer Boy 2004.
Ooh, and then now, of course, we have, Daryl Brooks, who had, just the biggest criminal, driving through a Christmas parade in, well, I think it's called pronounced Rekieta, Wisconsin, just a few days ago. How are you noticing the differences in how these, uh, 2 events
Oh.
are being covered? 'Cause
Well,
it's
when Kyle shot people, it was killer kills 2, injures 1. When Daryl Brooks,
Daryl, I think it's Daryl, yeah.
yeah, when Daryl Brooks murders 6 people with his SUV, it's called a car crash. I mean, that's the difference. It's an insane um double standard that the media has. I don't know if they're mad over Kyle, so they're just going to mitigate this one. Who knows whatever decision making is going on at the title writers there, but this is a guy who, when you watch that video, which is it's tough to watch, you know. I'm going to use it though as evidence. I hate going to parades. I hate it, and I have all these kids, and I have to go to them all the time.
I
But
mean,
I'm going to show my wife and be like, no, I'm not going to any more parades. Look at this. But no, you gotta, like, how do you look at that video and say, yeah, this just a car crash, bro? Like just a thing. It's like, you can word it as car plows into crowd at parade. You don't have to say that he murdered everybody yet. He's not guilty until he goes to trial. But just the
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
here's Daryl Brooks allegedly tried to kill his ex-girlfriend weeks before the Waukesha parade. I mean,
just
if you're like being arrested for a murder, I would be like, "Can I just cut my dreadlocks really quick? I know that this is probably not helping my whole look here. I don't know. Can I cover these tattoos? I don't know. Maybe I'm
I
a
love
noob.
the outfit that he's in is crazy town. Like, what the hell is that?
This is a backwards LL Bean vest. I don't know. It looks like he was getting a filling, like or it looks like the X-ray blanket that the dentist puts over you before they take, like, an X-ray of your mouth. Like,
Yeah, like the lead
the
blanket
weighted
thing.
the lead blanket,
Yeah.
and he
I
just
I
never
I
took
don't
it
get
off.
what that is. Normally, they just be in, like, the jumpsuit or whatever. It's Wisconsin. It's not like it's warm out, you
Right.
know? What's he doing? But no, this is and yeah, it's important to remember or note if people I guess you can't remember it if you didn't hear it, but he was out on bail and his bail was $1,000. And he had multiple felony charges. And the crazy thing is one of the charges that he was out on bail for is that he was skipping bail.
Hmm,
So he
interesting.
skipped a previous bail. He then gets bail this time, and it's super low. $1,000 is nothing. To give people reference for that, in my town, which is the big town near me, is 20,000 people. I had a case where a guy had a minor possession charge for THC oil. It's the lowest level of felony you can have, and his bail was $20,000.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah, $1,000, that's just one butthole picture on OnlyFans, you know?
exactly. Yeah. Especially from Daryl Brooks. I mean, that's there you go. Look at that. Look at those eyes.
How are you not on drugs? This is a person who's on drugs. And he's still wearing his weighted blanket in this photo.
Yeah. Is that like an anti-stab blanket? I'm trying to figure out what that thing is. I assume the state put it on him,
This is
right?
my favorite blanket. Yeah. So he can't stab himself? I don't know.
I don't
Right, he
know.
was
I have no
leaving
idea.
I guess he was leaving or running away from a knife fight somewhere else. And, I was reading on someone's feed that, like, they did an exact got in their car and synced it up with the police, like, recording or the police, commentary, and drove from where the knife fight was to the parade, and it, like, syncs up perfectly, and they were able to prove that Daryl did speed up as it wasn't like he was like, "Oh, I went the wrong way." Like, they were able to
Oh
be like,
yeah.
"He obviously sped up and targeted this Christmas parade on purpose."
The chat is making fun of me. They say it's a suicide prevention attire because you can't rip it like into strips, I guess.
Oh,
So
wow. What
so
will
there
they
you
think
go.
of next? They didn't have Epstein in one of these anti-suicide
He
blankets.
did not have one. Not at
He'd be
all.
like, "Could you not? Green is not my color," you know? That is so funny, and so there's no arms on it, right? Because you can't choke yourself with the arms.
I feel like he's going to a sword fighting competition though. It's like,
Yeah, I feel like you could wear this to the Ren Fair.
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's and you think about, like, why is the media, like, running just like they ran cover for, the pedophile guy that was involved in the Rittenhouse trial, what was it, Rosenbaum?
Yeah,
And now
no
they're
kidding.
covering for this guy. It's like, I guess does the mainstream media just feel like they have to keep this up because if it's not about race, the whole house of cards falls down and they have to just go back to, like, regular journalism again, and they can't just peddle racism as their business model anymore.
I think it's reflective of the fact that they're losing. Like it's not that social media and independence is winning yet. We will, but they know they can see the numbers decline. They can see uh there's the old adage, right? Like, how do you fix racism? And it's like one death at a time, I guess. Is like the idea that the racist generations will die off. And it's not 100% true on racism, but I think it is true on legacy media. Because how many people do you know and interact with anymore that even watch TV, like, at all? Like, the idea of having cable is foreign to me now. And we haven't had cable in our house in I don't know, 6 years, because we just weren't watching it. And the only people I know that do, like, are older, and they're just so used to having something on the TV just kind of as noise. They're not even paying attention to it. But I think they know they're watching their numbers decline. They're watching their influence wane. And so they've got to up the sensationalism. We see them adopting things like clickbait in major media stuff. We see him adopting the listicle, right? Like, major
Oh gosh.
5 things you need to know about this defendant. It's like, oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's a YouTube thumbnail. Thank you. But we see that happening, and that they're getting destroyed by viral and independent media, and so I think they're going to ramp it up until they eventually flutter out.
Right, because they probably saw during the Trump years, wow, like, we're sensationalizing him, we're talking so much shit about Trump, this is great, and then they probably saw maybe an uptick with COVID, like, okay, we gotta keep people angry and in fear 24/7, we don't care how we do it, we don't care how we get the people there, and, I don't know, people are just, like, exhausted, and I feel bad for those that are trapped into feeling like I have to watch this all the time or else I'm not updated, I'm not in the know, and it's like you're on a hamster wheel of horror. I don't know, you're
Yeah,
on like a hamster wheel of misery. From In Hot Water, if you were defending, is it Ghislaine or Ghislaine? Ghislaine
I
sounds
call her
sexual.
Ghislaine. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think she gets deference on the name from me, so I'll call
Okay,
her Ghislaine because it's
okay.
funnier.
If you
Um,
were defending Ghislaine, what strategy would you use?
uh, you know the Pope Mobile with all the bulletproof glass?
Mhm.
That one. That's the strategy. I'm shocked that she's still alive at this point, frankly.
That someone didn't
Yeah,
suicide her?
that she didn't get Epsteined, right? Like that, this whole idea, again, she's got a list of elites somewhere, if it's in her brain, if it's written down, and maybe they have some dead man switch or whatever, where if she dies, it gets released or something. Who knows why she's still breathing? But I don't know how you defend her on the charges. I guess you just try and uh, typically when you've got some sort of cultish type behavior or trafficking type behavior, you try to make her into a victim. Right?
Wow.
She's a victim of Jeffrey Epstein, not a collaborator. He had money, power, influence. He had control over her life. She didn't have any way to escape this. I guess if you can find anything to support that fact, that's what you do.
Yeah, here is from the Post. Ghislaine Maxwell's family appeals to the UN for her release from jail. Oh, why would they appeal to the UN? Interesting. Yeah, her siblings are now petitioning the United Nations in a bid to get the infamous accused sex trafficker released from jail, pending that at least 4 failed bail applications. They cited reasons like, oh, the food isn't good enough, like nutritional reasons. Like, I want to, oh, yeah, she's being deprived of sleep because the prison guards have to put a flashlight on her every 15 minutes to make sure she hasn't escaped. Yeah, cited like they cited all these different reasons. Oh, that the prison guards are like, oh, just watching her every move. The cameras are watching her 24/7. Like, regular ass, you're in jail for the worst thing ever kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it is exactly this angle of like she is she's a victim of Jeffrey Epstein as well. Like they're taking it out on her because they couldn't keep him alive.
Yeah, and you throw everything at the wall and hope any one thing sticks, right? Like that's and this reads like that. Oh, she's sleep deprivation. Oh, she's being touched by the guards
Yeah. Oh,
sexually.
inappropriate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's got suicide watch. For a while, I don't know how long they kept this up, but they were moving her to a different cell every day. They moved her from cell to cell, and in some cases that's actually a form of sleep deprivation, and we've done that at CIA sites where you move someone every 2 hours or whatever so they can't sleep. But
Wow.
in other cases, you do it to prevent someone from being murdered in their cell by an orchestrated plan that involves 2 guards mysteriously falling asleep and then lying about it years later. I mean, it's like there are
Or something
reasons for
like
this
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They admitted to falsifying the records on Epstein, right? Like the
What?
guards did. Uh,
Whoa.
so yeah, anyway.
It's a mess. From
Yeah.
Phil, a booty album suggestion, domestic mayorist. Okay. Keep the bad puns coming, guys. I'm going to start jotting them all down. All right. From Let Freedom Ring. I followed Nick over from his earlier stream and subscribed. I'm going back to school to get in the law game here in Arizona as a legal paraprofessional.
Very cool. Go
Ooh,
get it.
look
I
at
hope it
you.
works out for you.
You're inspiring the youth.
Okay.
From Grant D's Nuts, I expect a balls deep analysis from both of you on the Chris Chan trial. Happy Thanksgiving. When is
Ooh.
that? Is that currently happening?
It's coming up. Or no, it got continued to January, I believe.
Oh wow. Okay, push
So
back.
yeah, it's that's a mess. That's a mess.
Yeah, just banging your dead mom should be
Well, she was alive.
Oh no. I feel like I'd
Yeah.
rather be dead for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the idea is maybe she's not all upstairs, but he was focused on the downstairs.
Okay. From Tiago. After this long nose guy boomerang, you should keep his $40. Oh, no.
You should.
From
You
Big
should.
Text, the Wisconsin Capitol building has a room named after Kraus. The Rotunda? Is that a joke?
Yeah, because he's a big fat guy. And the
Oh, yeah.
rotunda's just like the
Oh,
giant
yes,
round
of
room.
course.
Yeah. Yeah.
From 200-watt Nick in Richard's voice, havoc in my hammock, girl.
A havoc in my hammock, a girl.
From Scotty doesn't know. What do you think of former AG Barr's dad hiring Epstein to teach at King's College?
Yeah, there's a lot. The problem is you want to say, well, they didn't know, but the reality is, they knew,
Of
right?
course,
Like,
yeah.
because he probably flew on the plane. So, everybody gets the wall, all of them. I know what I haven't done. I haven't trafficked children. So I'm safe to say that I'm fine with children traffickers getting the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like one area that's like, don't fuck with that stuff. From Amateur Anth, if Brian Stelter had a son, he would look like Joseph Rosenbaum. So crazy. Stetler is younger than me. I like have to.
He's so young.
Yeah, he's only 35.
Yeah. He looks, I mean,
Yeah.
oof.
He's probably got the blood pressure of somebody twice his age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Not a healthy boy. From Burst Angel, Nick, congrats on using the FNT format to lawyers. Everyone was awesome and can't wait to meet more.
Very cool.
Brad.
And there are more lawyers coming. I mean, I'm going to be bringing in
Ooh.
a whole bunch of weirdos for you. So,
Okay, good. I'm just picturing you like with a bunch of lawyers out on a football field, like doing drills and like push-ups, like getting ready for a live stream.
what are the elements of defamation? Oh God. How embarrassing that would be.
From Jared Hebert, thoughts on the serial killer Billy Shemirier case declared a mistrial. Sounds like an activist judge and jury member 11-1.
I don't have any thoughts on it because I don't know anything about it. But
Okay.
11-1 means they get to try again if they want.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. From Waltman, Your Honor, the prosecutor is being a jerk. Some of these are good super chats. Some of them are silly. Chrissy and Nick, is there anyone interesting enough in the back room to join you after Nick shared SY link? Oh, P.S. Loving the podcast. Oh, I kicked everybody out. I started seeing a lot of people coming. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's all good. From
Boomer.
David, don't defend Nick. He's only been drinking since noon.
That's not true. It is not true at all. I've had just like one or two.
Drank when Kyle's verdict came out. I drank like all day. I was so happy.
Yeah, it was the right thing. That was the most important thing. It was the right decision.
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's I think like there's been so little accountability with mainstream media. They never have to apologize, never have to take back any of the wrong shit they say. And so like this verdict, it's like they are forced to actually look at the facts because what are you going to call the whole system wrong? I mean, even Stephen Colbert went on, there's a clip going around of him saying like, well, I guess he didn't break the law. I guess that means the law should be changed. I'm like, you fucking moron. Like,
Yeah. Well, and this is a point I've been trying to make whenever I have these discussions, is that the self-defense law is a regressive law in the good way. That means it disproportionately impacts lower economic classes. And, you know, Stephen Colbert doesn't need to defend himself,
right.
right? He works in a building with private security. You can't get into his studio without going through, like, you would have to lie to a lot of people effectively to get into a Stephen Colbert studio, and you're probably not going to get in there with a gun. Whereas if you live in Southside Chicago or in New Orleans in your apartment building, your neighbor doing a bunch of flacca and coming to eat your face or whatever, you have to defend yourself. Like, and you don't get private security. You don't have that. And you don't even have to go that extreme. Middle-class families don't have private security either. But, a Clinton, like, they need to worry about having a gun? Never.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that elitist mentality on self-defense is extremely dangerous. And I just want to go on the record and say that Stephen Colbert is a giant fucking cuck.
Yeah. Here, here. I'll drink to that. Yeah, he sucks. I don't respect him. From Riverdale, much love from Germany to both of you. Rekieta, great work with your podcast. And Chrissy, you're always funny as hell. Fucking scissoring? Is that what you're saying?
It's from Heel versus Babyface.
Oh.
Someday look up his music video.
Okay, okay.
It's phenomenal.
From Groovy Grayard, Biden smeared Kyle in his campaign ads before he was president. They tried to sue Trump for less. Oof.
Yeah, it's important though that they tried to sue Trump. They did lose. Stormy Daniels got BTFO'd in a way that she didn't get paid for. She actually had to pay Trump, although that may have been overturned at some point. But she still lost the lawsuit on the anti-slap, which was not, that was not a good move for her. And that's the risk for Kyle, is if he sues Joe Biden, he has to sue in the right jurisdiction. Otherwise, he could potentially end up owing a bunch of money, which you don't want to do.
Would it behoove him to try to sue any of these like mainstream media networks?
Yes, but he has to be very careful on picking his statements and picking his targets. Nicholas Sandmann, who we talked about earlier, he sued over something like 47 or 45 different statements that they made about him, and all but 3 of those statements were thrown out by the federal judge because they were opinion. They're protected opinion. But those 3 statements that they did make are enough to go through. Kyle should be very, very conscious, especially with how politically charged his situation is, to pick the right statements and make sure they are indeed fact statements. And if he does that, like when someone says, like when the Guardian or whatever said, or the Independent, I can't remember who it was, said he shot 3 black men, for example, just the other day.
Yeah.
Like that's something that he could potentially go after them for. Anyone who says he brought his gun across state lines, he could potentially go after them for that because he didn't do that. And that wasn't the other problem that you have is anything he's charged with is probably protected. So you can call him a murderer because you can have an opinion that the killings that he did do were murder. You could call him, reckless endangerer, I guess. I don't know, because he was charged with that. And you can have the opinion that the jury was wrong, but you don't get to make up charges that don't exist.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. From the Last King in Norway, Kyle should go to law school and become a judge. Yeah, I heard him in the Tucker interview talking about that he seriously wanted to become a nurse. So we'll see.
Yeah, the problem with going to law school or any college is he has to get into them. Like right now he's at ASU, right? Which is great. But if you got to pursue higher education, like a law program, and they see Kyle Rittenhouse's name, are they going to let him in? That's a genuine question. They don't have to. So.
Right. And then who it might be pretty cool to have Kyle Rittenhouse representing you. And he's still like a young, like 20 years old. Like,
oh yeah. No, I think that would be, I think he'd be a great candidate for a defense attorney. Like it's like an action movie, right? He goes based and red pilled into defending criminals from injustice, right? Like he does that, it'd be good, and I think he'd make a lot of money because his name would be instantly noticeable. Injustice happened to me, don't let it happen to you. Get a lot of clients, but you got to get to school first. That's how the system works.
Or maybe he could be like a handyman or like an architect, and it'd be like, turn your Rittenhouse into a home.
Someone said he should go into air conditioning because he's an expert at ventilation.
I'm laughing, and I don't even know why that's funny.
Because he shot a guy through the lungs.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, it was so funny. God, I saw this like it's called like the Rittenhouse, like at these bar, like at a bar, like they're serving like the chaser first, followed by 3 shots.
Yes.
I was like, that's probably
Yeah.
disgusting, but funny. From Admiral Wackass, why did BLM and NAMBLA have so much overlap? I mean, I know BLM started out as a nice idea, but then it was co-opted by the evil powers that be. From Matthew Hammond, I think Robert Barnes said Linwood does not want the money to go to spokesperson David Hancock. Robert had a settlement with the Fight Back Foundation for Kyle that was stopped by David Hancock. Looks like somebody's paying attention. Thanks, Matthew. Okay, I just want to make sure I get all these. From Duran, big car plows parade. Oh, wow. That was a headline.
I don't know. I think they're saying that could be a headline, like other than calling it a car crash. God, car crash is just.
Yeah, parade gets in way of speeding car. Scotty doesn't know. That's called a turtle suit. It's a rip stop gown to prevent suicide. Okay. Good.
Well, don't you guys know a lot?
You guys are smart. I am impressed with this chat every day. From Robert, last name I can't pronounce. The real problem is the media and politicians punching down on an 18-year-old kid. May not be libel, but it still needs to stop.
I agree.
Yeah, this poor little button. Okay, from Corinne. The green jumpsuit is okay. Same thing. All right. You guys know what these anti-suicide suits look like, I guess. I just never seen one before. Yeah. You know, you guys, maybe it's a sexual kink that some people in the chat have.
They're anti-autoerotic asphyxiation. I want to choke myself, but I just can't. Oh, God.
From Rob Pyers, Nick, to be clear, what is facial abuse? What? Is this for the right stream? This sounds almost sexual.
Facial abuse is a website for certain adults.
Okay. Say no more. From Evan Ralph Rackets, my brother Ethan refuses to hand over the ancestral Ralph family box fan I was promised in the will. What can I do about this?
You gotta hire yourself a good probate lawyer and figure that out. That's what you got to do.
Are you a master probator?
Yes.
I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
What does your family and friends think of all of the attention you've gotten?
Most of them haven't really talked about it. Only a couple do. It's weird because no one in my town really knows what I do at all. Other than a few people that like specifically that I've hung out with and know about my show. But my parents think it's pretty cool that a lot of people are watching, but that's about it. I haven't had too many conversations about it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how you can like get into these like internet kind of friend groups. Like I feel like I'm closer with people I haven't even met yet, like some of the FNT crew, some of the other people I do streams with. And then it's like I have to explain to my own dad like what a podcast is. And he's like, I don't know, where do I find one of these? Just send me one. How many episodes do you have? I'm like, Dad, I'm on like 335. What? And I'm just like, it's wild.
I can't send them to you, Dad. The post office shipping would be ridiculous on this if sending you these podcasts.
Yeah. I'm like, I know. And even it's like, it's fine. He gets a pass. He's 75. But my brother, who's only like 43, like really should still not be asking me where to find a podcast. Like, dude.
Yeah.
You're not old enough.
Get to work.
Get to work. I don't know. I think it's just, I have to like let it go. This expectation that my family should like give a shit about what I do.
Yeah. And I think it's better when they don't. Like I mean, my dad's been watching, he was watching a lot lately because of the trial. and stuff like that. But it's like, my nighttime show gets really gets a little spicy. I don't know if my parents
Ooh.
need to learn about balls or no balls on Fuda. Like that's just not, or references to facial abuse, for example.
Is a Fuda, is that like a fupa? I know what a
No,
fupa is.
so a Fuda is an anime girl that also has a giant penis. Like they have
Okay.
both sets of genitalia, right?
Oh, okay.
And
Wow,
so
where do
then
you find room for all that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it differs by the art style, but anyway, it's degeneracy, right? And this stuff comes up on my show all the time. And so yeah, it's like, hey, or when my buddy Drexel's on, my mom's like, I'm gonna watch you and your friend Drexel do that. No, mom, no, don't do it. Don't
Yeah.
watch.
Come for the legal advice, stay for the futa.
Exactly. Yes.
From Wolfgang Deo, the reason lawyers tend to be leftist is likely due to education. Harvard talks about constitutional democracy. Nope. In other things, in 0L. I think I understood that. From
Yeah.
Everett, Merrill Crowder covered Daryl stuff as well. The cover by the media is because of Daryl saying in a video he had relations with a minor as well as her pimp. Oh, I saw that video. Yeah, he said he pimped out like a 16-year-old girl that he didn't know was 16, like bragging about it. Also, that red Ford Escape is in like
Yeah.
a number of his music videos and also
Mhm.
like in Google Maps, like the whatever it is, like the screenshot of the road or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Oh, he seems guilty as shit. Uh, yeah.
From T Dog, Maxwell's father was a powerful figure in the UK. Quote, died mysteriously off his boat, right? I feel like he disappeared. He was heavily linked to British and Israeli intelligence. Oh, yeah. She's so connected. She's so
Yeah.
crazy
It
connected.
said he was linked to intelligence, but if he was so smart, why'd he die?
Yeah.
Think about that.
From Bertrand, I've been following Chrissy since before F&T and Nick since before he was on F&T. Hail to you both. Thanks, Bertrand. It's a cool name. Okay, from Bryce. Brierly, if Nick embraces the FNT format, he needs to hire Perry Chan to do the video. Apologies if I got the name wrong. Yeah, would you have a sick intro? I need a sick intro.
Yeah, I have a very basic intro, which is from my old streams of me just drinking a lot. But
Mhm.
maybe we need like an invoice of lawyers intro of some sort. I don't know. Uh, we'll see.
I like that you're
Still,
making lawyers cool again. I mean, not for the first time. I don't know if they were
yeah,
ever cool.
yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh, they can be used for something other than boat anchors. Got it.
That's funny. Anti-pattern wants you to explain the insanity of legal eagle. That's something you don't want to
Uh,
go into. We don't have to.
well, he's like the biggest lawyer on YouTube. He's got 1.7 million or something, maybe more now,
Big deal.
subscribers. And it's like the most milk toast, boring takes on pop culture media or pop culture legal issues. Like he's like, let's talk about my cousin Vinny, right? Or let's
Okay.
think like a lawyer and look at NYPD Blue or something. And it's always, and those are fine videos. They're very consumable, but it's so overproduced. And he lately, especially, has started getting into these really hot button political topics that have deep legal issues, and he gets them really wrong
Okay.
and needlessly so. It's like you have like 2 million subscribers. You have to make infinite money. Why don't you have someone help you research this? You work at a law firm full of lawyers. Like get one of the paralegals to do something and get you a brief. But
All
I
production, no substance. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. He's also short.
Ugh. Let's get him. From Reggie, people like Colbert don't like the fact that someone stood up to left wing thuggery. Yeah, they live in such a bubble. And it's like, I mean, all he has to do is be funny, Colbert. And it's like he's so beyond. He thinks he's more important than entertaining people.
Yeah, he could have just been funny. That was fine. He's
Yeah.
actually okay at it too. Like just be funny.
Um, someone wants me to ask you if you dabble in law. Of course you dabble.
I
You're
dabble a little bit.
more
A
than a
little bit.
dabbler. That's
I,
a
I
shout out to an old Stuttering John joke.
oh.
I asked him if he dabbled in stand-up, and he couldn't let it go for like 20 minutes. He was like, "What? I do shows." And I was like, "I've literally never seen your name on any club I've ever been to." And then a couple minutes later, he was like, "Don't you do stand-up, Chrissy?" And then I said, "I dabble," and I knocked him out. I don't know.
He keeps popping up in like associated with people that I know, like you, Mersh, Carl from Who Are These Podcasts, like this
I love
Stuttering John guy.
Carl.
I don't know anything about Stuttering John. I know nothing about him other than the fact that he like is obsessive about a couple of you. So
Yeah. He was a big deal like 20 years ago on Howard Stern, and he's just been sort of trying to coast off that. From Zadikis, a lot of media keeps referring to Jacob Blake as dead. Is there any FCC or similar body to penalize false broadcasting?
no, and to be clear, there shouldn't be, in my opinion. I am not a fan of the social media policies about misinformation either, because once you have the power to censor quote unquote misinformation, you get to determine what is information. I don't agree with that.
Okay. Hot take from Chris K. Haha, is Binger really on the DL or is that a joke?
Uh,
Like, is he gay? Is that what they were?
yeah, and I can't tell you for sure. Obviously, I don't know. But
There's
I
only one
think
way to find out.
open up that Grinder account.
Get in
Uh,
there.
no, I there's evidence to suggest that that is not a joke. And including the evidence that he spends various amounts of time living with a man who's a judge in Kenosha County named something Kroger or something.
Dipping his pen in the office ink, I see. From Gary Kuyak. Great to see you facilitating an invoice of lawyers standing up for the law, be it right or left.
Thanks.
And then Captain Webb, Nick could have at least used his formal nose. I don't know what these people are saying. Nikki, now that you are internet famous, will you keep covering Russell Greer and Melinda Scott cases? Who are
Yes.
they?
Two bright shining stars in the legal world. Russell Greer is a man with a paralyzed face. He has something called Mobius syndrome, and his mouth doesn't close, so he drools a lot. But he and don't feel bad about this. He is a terrible person on the inside.
Okay.
He has sued Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Katy Perry, a couple strippers. He almost sued the Bunny Ranch in one of the funniest failures you could imagine.
Why? For not going out with him?
No, basically on all of them, yes. He literally sued Taylor Swift. He sued her 4 times now, to force her to put a disclaimer when she does like an Instagram post where someone sends her a gift. She's like, "Oh, hey, thank you. I got this hand knitted blanket from the children of the cancer ward that I visited." Right. And so she posts out on Instagram. Well, he sent her a song. He made a song and he sent it to her. And she didn't. He sent it to her agent, and her agent's like, "She can't accept this. She cannot accept music." And he's like, "No, it's not for her to sing. It's for her to listen to and enjoy because it's wonderful. It's called I Get You, Taylor Swift. It's glorious." But and they're like, "No, she can't open any music from a fan," because you know how this goes, right? She opens a song and says, "Oh, I loved your song." Then she writes a different song and she gets sued for copyright infringement.
Wow.
That's how you do that. So he has sued her to force her to put a disclaimer every time she accepts a gift publicly or like goes to prom with some Marine or something, that she won't do that for every single person. He sued her for $100 million. The Bunny Ranch one is way better though. So Russell is working at a Walmart doing janitorial stuff, right? And he is wearing a tuxedo for his entire shift because after he gets off of work at the Salt Lake City Walmart, he's going to get into a bus, not a limo. Sorry, get onto a bus and ride from Salt Lake City to just outside of Vegas to go to the Bunny Ranch, which is like a several hour trip. And you wouldn't want to change between any of these things.
Yeah.
You just wear your tuxedo all through work and then all through the bus ride. And he gets to the Bunny Ranch And he goes and he pays like $4,000, I think, for 4 hours of time with I think the pen name for her is Kiara. That's not a real name, but she takes him back to the room and he's a little nervous, so they just sit there and talk for a little while. And then he says, "Hey, I want to take you to lunch." So they get a limo and he brings her to the Olive Garden and they eat. And then they go back. And when they get back to the ranch, she's like, "Your 4 hours is up, bro." And he never had sex with her at all.
That sounds great.
Oh, he's a gem. And Melinda Scott's just a crazy lady in Virginia or West
Okay.
Virginia, one of those two.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So you're covering these small quirky cases too.
Oh yeah, they're too, most law is boring. Like the overwhelming majority of law is competent lawyers writing out boring documents, arguing over it, and then things happening that kind of make sense. You got to find the spice if you're doing legal documents. And these two just they both file frivolous lawsuits all the time. They represent themselves and they're both idiots, which helps.
That's fun.
So.
From Razor, Arbery's dad said all lives matter, not just black lives, and Al Sharpton visibly winced behind him during the press conference. Oh boy.
Yeah. See, that's the smart thing for Arbery's dad to say too. That's the right answer for him. His son is now, we can say his son was the victim of a criminal act, and because they were convicted, but he's not inflammatory. He's mitigating that. So there you go.
Okay. From Jim Fry, Nick, my SC on your channel was in regards to Gage, not Joseph, Napoleon blown apart. I guess it fits for both, but it was in reference into Gage's arm.
I was thinking it was because Napoleon's short and Joseph Rosenbaum was short. That's what I was.
Scotty wants to know about mentorship. I'm the real life Mike Ross.
You can email me about whatever you want to. Sure. I'll try and respond. My email gets kind of flooded though.
Yeah. Make it snappy. Nick's from Ty Scott. Nick, if you do an intro video, you should definitely have everyone do really cheesy cable lawyer ads. Oh, that would be great.
Yes. Yes.
Cars for Kids.
187. Guy, I hate that fucking song so much.
I know. For years, I was like, why do kids need cars? Many of them can't drive.
Yeah.
From Ray Opberg, new show idea: cartwheels with lawyers. Thoughts? Oh God, yeah. There's a thing I did a bit somewhere on the internet where it's called "Comedians in Cartwheels" or something, and it's just a video of me doing a cartwheel in a skirt, and that gets more views than like probably any comedy thing I've done.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what the internet cares about. From Matt Decker, there is an alien brothel in Area 51. It's closer to Vegas than the Bunny Ranch. Okay, the comments are getting a little weird. Let's see. Did I ask you all the? No, no. I welcome it. I think I did all these. All right, thank you for the super sticker, guys. Okay, cool. What did you learn from doing your streams of the trial?
Like, did I learn about
what surprised you? Yeah.
Just how bad the state's case was a big one. They have since before the guilty or the not guilty verdict came down, they had filed the defense had filed for a mistrial with prejudice, and the state responded to that in a written document. And one of the things they said in there was that the witness testimony that was elicited at trial was what was consistent with their expectations. So when you have Gage Grosskreutz admit under oath that that Kyle Rittenhouse didn't shoot him until he stepped towards him, pulled out his gun and pointed it at Kyle, and he says, "Yeah, that's correct." That was within their expectations. They knew that was part of it. When you have Richie McGinnis testifying that that Joseph Rosenbaum screamed "fuck you" and reached for Kyle's gun, that was what they expected to come out. These are the things that you'd think the state would put together a case that didn't have such strong self-defense elements. That was one part. The second part that was so surprising was just how far they went with this drone footage, which should not have been introduced into evidence and was the sole idea is source of the idea where Kyle pointed his gun at somebody. There's no evidence throughout the entire night from all of the camera angles, from all of the testimony, from all of the witnesses that was called, that Kyle Rittenhouse pointed his gun at Joshua Zeminski. But a detective looked at his phone with his drone video and used pinch to zoom and then determined that happened. And so then they ran with it. That should never have gotten into evidence. And the fact that they fought so hard, basically lying on the stand to the judge about interpolation, about how email works, that they fought to keep it in like that was very embarrassing.
Wow. This just came in from Woodman Gaming. In your criminal defense cases, have you seen similar levels of gross incompetence from the state?
I have not had any criminal cases that go that far up, like murder, right? I've dealt with several felony cases, but the ones that I did do, I found little things, two big things in all of them. The most egregious state incompetence or state nefariousness was this case with THC oil. Well, it was CBD oil, but they determined it was THC oil without actually ever determining that. They did a field test. The cops did a field test on the oil, and they didn't use the marijuana test. They used the methamphetamine test. So it came back negative for the meth test, but it looked like the positive result for a marijuana test. If you don't know how these work, they're these little packets with a liquid in them. That's a reagent. And when those reagents react in a certain way to a controlled substance, when you do stuff with them, like you either drop it in there or sometimes you have to agitate them. They have different kits for different drugs. If you use the wrong kit, you're going to get a false positive potentially, because it'll actually be a negative, but it'll look like the positive of a different kit. That's what they did here. And then they wrote it all down like a bunch of morons. And then they still tried to prosecute my client. And the best part was when I'm in chambers with the judge and the state attorney, as a judge, what they're charging my client with is legal. Like, if you take off the robe, we can walk down to the health store that's 2 blocks away and I can buy you the exact same stuff. And he looked at the state and he says, is that true? And they said, well, the state's position is that it's illegal. And I'm like, but the law says that it's legal. So the state's position doesn't matter. And they were trying to run through it. I mean, that type of stuff happens all the time on small scale in small courts. And a lot of people get railroaded by it.
Wow. From Groovy Graveyard, Kraus had video manipulation and compression software visible on his laptop?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, right after testifying that he has no idea how to do cropping or how to compress video, his laptop had Handbrake and another software on it.
This is an interesting one from Jack Snack. My boss caught me watching your stream last week and gave me a hard time. I went to his office later in the day and heard your voice. Lol, busted. Wow. I can't imagine someone giving someone a hard time for, watching a bunch of lawyers talk about a case.
For 8 hours.
Right?
In the middle of their shift.
Yeah, did you have to pee were you wearing a diaper for these streams? Like, do you have snacks by you?
Sometimes, but the main benefit of having so many lawyers was if I had to go to the bathroom, I could just mute my mic, turn off the camera, and run upstairs to go to the bathroom. So it was pretty easy. We had enough filler.
Okay, sweet. From Touch My Binger, how likely is a scenario where Dominic Black gets convicted?
It should be completely unlikely. His lawyer should be moving immediately for dismissal of the charges, in my opinion, because it's the same judge, same facts, and same law that the judge dismissed Kyle's gun charge under. It's the exact same. There's no difference in the analysis. But Binger has threatened to appeal it if he does it. Look, if he's going to appeal it, he's going to appeal it. If it's you get appealed or you go to prison, take the getting appealed thing, because you'll win today, and let the state fight it out. Like, let him actually file that appeal.
But you know who doesn't want an appeal? A banana. Okay, final super chat from Bat Fields. Chrissy, basketball, soccer balls? Or no, this question must be answered. What is this?
I think it's just balls or no balls.
Balls
on
or
your
no
futa.
balls? I guess I would say, yeah, balls. Keep the unit
Thank
intact.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. That I've been making this argument for months, and
A
people are like,
a
"No,
dick
no
without
balls."
balls is simply ornamental. I mean, just get a if I want that, just like, I don't know, get a strap on or something.
Right. I feel like that's more gay too, right? From the
No
male
balls
aspect.
is more gay?
Yes. Right? Like, 'cause then
Yeah.
you're just idolizing the phallus, and that's
Yeah.
weird.
Right.
See? See, no balls squad, you're gay, guys. Sorry. Hate to
Balls.
tell you.
Balls all the way. Plus, they're comforting. All right. From David Davidson, what could Kyle say on his media tour to get extra investigations into his case based on what he said earlier with the AR-15?
Nothing on his media tour can implicate him for any alleged criminal act from this event. He's clear of everything he was charged with, and he's also clear of anything he might have feasibly been charged with at the time. They chose to charge what they chose. They don't get to take another shot at it. The only thing that his media tour, like what he said with the AR-15, that he used the forward assist, which didn't come out at trial, that could in some theory come up in a civil suit against him. But we'll see. It's why I think he just shouldn't be talking about anything related to that stuff at all. But that's my opinion. But nothing criminal. And probably not going to get a federal charge because there's no federal laws that he feasibly broke. So
Okay, interesting. And Renamit Miet with a compliment. Nick, it was a pleasure watching your streams. Great panels and substance. Keep your balls.
okay, I will do that.
And I'm trying to wrap this up. You guys keep throwing more super chats from Woodman Gaming for Nick. Sorry for the personal messages last week, but y'all glazed over so many potentially interesting legal conversations that I'd love to see fleshed out. For Chrissy, take my money. Your streams are consistently good. Thank you.
Yeah. You can send me personal messages all you want. That's fine. I just may not be able to incorporate them into the show.
Dick pics, no ball pics.
No,
Right?
not those personal
No?
messages.
Okay.
No, please, no.
Nick, you're a delight. I really appreciate you coming on despite how busy you've been. And this is great. Thank you, chat, for the comments and the questions. And I feel smarter for having talked to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
But also, I didn't expect these dick and ball jokes. So
Oh, yeah,
nice.
I should have warned you. Sorry. Next time we can make it way spicier because my chat is the most degenerate group of people on
I
the
love
planet.
it. I love it. It's very complimentary to my squad too. Yeah, Nikita reminds me of a young Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. Wow, look at that.
There you go. Feed me a stray cat.
All right, cool. Nick, what's coming up for you? Where can people follow you, etc.?
You can follow me on Rekieta Law on YouTube. You can Rekieta Media on Twitter because I happened to get my last one banned. And then RekietaLaw.locals.com if you want to have access to the exclusive nude hot tub streams. So
yes.
So
oh my
there you
God.
go.
Nick, you're the best. I hope we're gonna be friends now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'll have to bring you onto a show sometime.
Ooh. Okay. I don't know anything about the law.
But
But I do own a pantsuit.
Who's talking about the law? We got to talk about funny stuff.
Okay, good.
I'm tired of all the seriousness.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
This was great, guys. Until next time. Bye.
Peace.